So, firstly, good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to Ibrox and thank you for joining us at relatively short notice. I'm really delighted to be introducing Russell to you as the new head coach of Rangers Football Club. Russell's appointment is the culmination of a series of steps we've been working on over the past few months since I joined Rangers. We started with the football review, which I spoke to the media about in January. This led to several insights and recommendations, including the need to modernise our operations and develop a clear footballing identity. Then the next step was to appoint a sporting director, and Kevin, of course, was appointed in April and came into the building just this week. We also have been developing a clear football style and identity, and that's work that's been going on behind the scenes. It's been led by Kevin and it's involved football people. As I say, we've now culminated in appointing Russell, and in Russell we've got a head coach that aligns to the footballing style and identity that we've been developing. In addition to wanting a head coach who's going to excel in terms of the style that we're looking to play as a club, we also were looking for a head coach that's going to improve our culture, develop our squad, and ultimately win matches. And Russell's been the standout candidate. This appointment is about building a winning team and a strong culture. Now, Russell's no stranger to our club, as you know. He's been a player here previously. And we expect success, and Russell knows that. And we're really, really excited for his leadership and for him to getting started. And pass over to Kevin.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Nice to meet everybody for the first time. If I can just very briefly just echo Patrick's sentiment. Through a very stringent and very thorough process, it was clear right from the very start to all of us that Russell was the outstanding candidate, and we're absolutely delighted that he's decided to join us. He's had a strong career now, over 250 games, both as a manager and as a head coach, and I think we can all see over the course of that journey he's sharpened his approach, not only from a technical perspective, a tactical perspective, but also from a personal perspective. I'm delighted that he's going to join us. I'm very excited to see what he's going to bring to Rangers Football Club and the team, and very much looking forward to working with him going forwards.
Okay, thank you everyone, and we'll begin questions, and we'll start with Sky, please.
Russell, congratulations. Can you tell us how it feels to be sat here as Rangers' new head coach?
Well, yeah, it's an incredible feeling. So, firstly, I'm really grateful to everyone, to the board, to Patrick, to Kevin for their trust and faith in me. And it's been a really, tough and rigorous process, and it's taken some time. But it's what you expect when you want to be a manager of this football club, and a football club of this stature and size and expectation. So. I'm delighted it's ended up with me being in this chair, and I'm extremely grateful for that as well. And now I'm just desperate to get started and excited about what's to come and what we can really get building here.
Why Rangers, and why do you think you're the right man for this role?
So I'll be really honest. There was a few opportunities since I left Southampton early on, and then a bit of a break really, and no real interest to get straight back in February and March time, even with some sort of tentative approaches and stuff, but I wanted to take some time to really reflect and review on what we've learned as a coaching staff, and I've learned as a person, and as a leader, and as a manager, and as a coach. I think that time was really important. And then when this one was first suggested, and even with a couple of other opportunities on the horizon this last few weeks, this was the one I really wanted. One, because of the expectation, the size of it, what it means to so many people, the opportunities come here and experience something completely different to anything in football, I think, really. That's what I felt when I played here for a very short period. That also comes into my mind, 'cause it's probably, when I look back on my career as a player, it's the one thing that hurt me a lot, was it didn't go very well here, because I wasn't quite in the right place physically to do as well as I possibly could, and it was a difficult time for the club. So also that comes into the equation as well, I have to be really honest. So I'm desperate to show a different version of myself here than I did previously, and just everything, the fresh start, how these guys have been in the process, the owners, it's just really exciting, the whole thing. So I was really honest with these from the outset that I wanted to be the manager, and this would be my first choice. much to the detriment of my agent, who kept saying to me to play my cards close to my chest. But I was really honest and really open, and I'm delighted I'm now here.
There's been a lot said about your past jobs, style of play. What would you like to say to the Rangers fans? What can they expect from a
I
Russell
just think we
Marston team?
managed 3 clubs. The teams have looked really different, all with the same concept of the game, to try and be the aggressor with the ball and without it, because you can't have one without the other. They've all played different formations, different shapes, different personnel, different people making up different positions in terms of what they have. So we are here to win, and we'll do that in the best way we possibly can within a similar concept of the game, which is to be dominant with the ball, which I think is what Rangers fans expect. But to be really aggressive, really intense, really passionate, really hard working, first and foremost, before anything with the ball. It has to come to that. So we're here to win, and we're here to do it in the best way we possibly can, and also to help the club be sustainable with academy players coming through, with young players, with creating assets for the football club. And every job's been different. So at MK it was about survival first, and then building something where we could sell players on, because it wasn't going to be the destination, it was going to be a stop for the players. Swansea was very similar. The budget was heavily cut when we went there. So I deemed them jobs, and what the expectation of us was, to be a success. Probably a bigger success than Southampton was. Southampton in the first year of the Championship was the first time we were expected to win, and we did what we were expected to do, which was to get promoted. And then, of course, the challenge of the Premier League is very different. So I know the expectation here is to win, and we want to do that, and we want to do it in a way that is aligned with all of us, how we want to feel about the team and how we think Rangers fans want to feel about their team. And that's what's really exciting.
Just one for Kevin. Can you explain the process that led to Russell's appointment and why you think he's the right man?
Yeah, so we wanted to use the time well and make sure we made as strong as decisions as we possibly could do. And so I think it was the right decision to do that. We appreciate there's now pre-season on the horizon, and also a European game coming thick and fast. But we think that by using that time, we got exactly the right candidate that's the perfect fit for Rangers Football Club. From my perspective, I've seen Russell's team play for many years, and in particular, if I look back at that Championship season that's just been referenced, and also the Premier League season, there's a lot to be proud of there, and there's a lot that fits Rangers Football Club going forwards. And Russell's explained quite clearly there about what we think Rangers Football Club needs to be in those games. We need to be dominating in all moments, all of those key moments of the game. When we've got it, when we haven't got it, and then the transition bits in between. So, yeah, delighted that we were able to have those conversations. I'm delighted that he made it slightly easier for me with the negotiations, and also very, very pleased that he sat next to me now and getting ready to work.
Last one, Adam.
Just one final one from me for Patrick. I think this is the first time I've had a chance to speak to you since the takeover. There's of course been a lot of change at the club recently. Just how significant a week has this been for Rangers Football Club?
I think clearly the appointment of a head coach is, it is a very significant step for the club. As I say, it's the culmination of several key steps that have been taking place over the last few months. So we've been really focused on doing things in the right order, so that we've got experts making decisions rather than doing things out of sequence and rushing things through and possibly making the wrong choices. So we've been really disciplined in terms of our process, and we've been while it's the first time we've spoken face to face, there's been a lot of work going on in the background.
Gaps.
Russell, you say you're here to win. What have the two men either side of you told you your aims are, short term and long term? What is success for you here at Rangers?
Well, I think it's to win trophies. It's to build a culture at the training ground and here that we are proud of, and that people can feel when they come in the building, and that the ownership want to feel when they come into the building. An environment of hard work, but of honesty, of openness, inside and outside of the building, and to see a team that doesn't look different every week, that is always trying to improve and develop in our own way, and rather than focusing on the opposition too much or what other people are doing, we're going to do it in our way, and we're all going to be fully on the same page, which I think the alignment and what I felt over the last few weeks of the process is the most important part for me. I think we're all on on the same journey. We want to be successful, and ultimately at Rangers that means to win trophies, and we have to improve the team on the pitch, improve the environment off the pitch as much as we possibly can, because there's already some brilliant people at the football club, some of them I know and worked with here, so and I've spoken to over the last couple of days, who I'm really excited to work with again and to see and link up with again, so to keep building on that and to bring our own twist on it and to win.
Russell, you've been appointed now 4 times as a manager or head coach at different clubs, so you know what it's like. There's some supporters that want to see you here, that are so excited. Some supporters would rather another manager was appointed.
Mm-hmm.
What is your message to this fan base, massive fan base here at Rangers? What should they expect to see on the pitch from your team?
My job as a manager, and I've said it every club I've been at, is to give the supporters are the most important people at any football club. So they'll be here long before and after any manager, any coach. So I think my job is to give them a team that they identify with and they feel proud of, a team that wins, and they go to a game knowing what to expect. I think a team that's going to give everything to run as hard as they possibly can. I think that's one thing that it gets overlooked at the teams we've managed. They always run the most out of possession, the most sprint distance, the most high speed running, because they have to if they want to dominate the ball and be aggressive. So I think it's a given, but it's never a given. It's actually it's an attribute. You need to work hard. Not everyone has that. So we want people that have that to come to the club. I know I'm sat next to 2 people that work extremely hard and have a work ethic that matches my own. So I'm excited about all of that. And to the fans, listen, I have to win. I don't think I've been the number 1 choice at any club I've been at. So as a player from MK to become the manager is a bit of a surprise to the supporters. To then go to Swansea, they were linked with all sorts. They'd lost in the playoff final, and then the budget was being cut, and then we turned up from League One. And then at Southampton, the same. They'd just been relegated from the Premier League, so I'm sure there was all sorts of names mentioned when I was interviewing for the job. And then I got it. And by the time we've left every club I've been at, I felt a real connection with the supporters. I felt they'd been really behind us. Definitely the playing staff and the staff we've been working with wherever we've been, because of the relationships we formed and maintained at every club we've been at. And I hope this will be the same. I really do. And I hope people judge us on, and judge me in particular, on this moment and not when I was a player here a while ago, because it's very, very different. I feel my whole playing career was based on hard work, resilience, and trying to find a way myself. And I am even surprised at the playing career I had to play in the Premier League, because if you'd said that when I was 18, I wouldn't have thought that. It was not done on talent. But I think my whole playing career was set up to become a coach and a manager. I always wanted to do that. And I'm really grateful that I ended up playing for as long as I did and having the career I had. But I really feel, and I wanted a burning desire to do this from an early age. And actually my period here before was incredible learning for me and helped me so much on my journey about culture, about what to expect, about what's required. And listening to Jimmy Bell, the kit man, tell me stories, and Disco, who's been here for years, and people like that, and Stevie the physio, and listening to them talking about it, it just whetted my appetite even more. So I learned a lot when I was here, that's helped me prepare for it now.
Josh?
Russell, you mentioned there's been a lot of different styles, managers' ideas. From your point of view, why is it important that supporters see that consistent idea style from week to week as you do build something?
Yeah, it's not about style, it's about consistent level of application and desire and intensity, because things are going to change week to week in terms of the plan, what we're up against, how we're going to have to break down opposition, or how we're going to have to press the little tweaks and adaptations to formation maybe. But in terms of what I want them to see is the same mentality all the time, and they know what they're to expect in terms of that wherever they go. So because the game throws up lots of different variables after that.
Andy?
Hi Russell, when you were here last time, the support was angry at times. I think back to those 2 Celtic games, the second of which there was mutiny in there was after that game. The board at that time was getting a lot of trouble, a lot of pressure. When you think back to those times and you see the way that how passionate the support can be, that can be a negative at times, but it can also be a positive. Did that in any way play into your thinking about coming here when you've seen how when it goes bad it can be very feisty? Did that put you off at all?
No, I only play positively. I think how much people care about their club and how intense the support is, how passionate they are. So yeah, I've not gone into the job obviously you're aware of that, but I'm not going into it thinking about that. I thought only about the positives, about if we get this place going, and a team that they enjoy watching, playing attacking football with intensity. I've only thought about the positives of that and how strong and how powerful that can be, and I really hope we can achieve that.
Just on that, Russell, are you therefore confident that you can win over your doubters, the sceptics amongst the Rangers supporters?
Yeah, I have to be. I think I have a lot to prove. I have done in my whole career. My whole career's been based on proving people wrong, really. And at every level got questioned. When I got to the Premier League as a player, I wasn't convinced I could do it, but I managed to establish myself there for a little while. I ended up playing 4 or 5 seasons there. Played international football, which I'm incredibly proud of. So it's the same again as a manager. I had to prove people wrong at every opportunity. And there's always some names in football management that are always a bit more exciting than others, of course. But I feel after 5.5 years of being a manager, being a coach, being a leader in an environment, I love doing it, and I'm going to be all in here with my energy and my love for it and passion, and hopefully that will reflect on the pitch and people will see that, and at some point they'll enjoy it, and hopefully, like I said, ultimately they just want to win, and if our team is winning, I'm sure they'll be happy.
How do you assess the squad? I appreciate it's early days, but how do you assess the squad that you have? And do you believe you will be financially backed by the board here to implement the type of football philosophy that you want to?
Yeah, I think we've had League One, the Championship, the Premier League. We've had players, all different backgrounds, different technical capacity, different athletic capacity, and we've always been able to create a team that we enjoy watching and working with, and has certain aspects of the game that we really deem important. I think the squad that's in place now can definitely do better, be better, and that's no disrespect to anyone. When you have a change of manager mid-season, I thought Barry did a brilliant job taking over halfway through and taking that on to the end of the season. And I think we're going to add to the squad. I think we're already clear on what the squad needs, what it requires, and I think we're all really excited about that as well, the change, but also giving people a chance to show maybe a better version of themselves, the best version of themselves, maybe a different version. So I'm excited about that because people always surprise you as well. Players always surprise me at every club I've been at. When I go in with already an opinion on them from watching from afar, and then going into the building and seeing them, there's always a surprise or two, and I'm looking forward to seeing who they are.
Russell, as you sit here now, you're talking about having to win, the club having to win. As you sit here now, are you confident you can get a team on the pitch that could win the title next season, this coming season?
I think we're confident we can have a team that is better, gets more points, wins more games, and competes. Yeah, really competes to win trophies.
Russell, much has been made about your footballing identity. You touched on it a little bit earlier on. Can you give us a little bit more on what you see, the style that the fans can expect from your team?
I think it's based on 2 things really. So without going into all the detail and talking about technical detail and stuff, it's based on courage and intensity. So courage to take the ball, to express yourself in the final third. And it's not always easy in front of 50,000 people with a big expectation. In fact, it's tough. It's one of the toughest things to do in football. So hopefully with clarity in what is expected of them individually, in their relationships on the pitch together, as a team, hopefully that clarity will help them to play with courage and to express themselves with a level of freedom within the structure where they can go and be players that people enjoy watching. They are going to have to take the ball sometimes in some moments in areas of the pitch they may be deemed risky, but they'll always have solutions and options. But it's to play the game in the opposition half, to dominate territory as much as we possibly can, and then to work out solutions how to break people down and to hurt them and stop transition. Set play is going to be really important, so we need to focus a lot of work on that as well. So it's not just one area of the game. And actually, I never really had to speak about style of play until we got to the Premier League, and then people who hadn't watched our team or my team for 4.5 years, 5 years, only became obsessed about that. So I end up talking about that all the time, and I want to avoid that because things will change within that, and we've learned a lot from that. But the concept of the game will always be the same: to try and dominate the ball and to dominate territory. And to do that, you have to be really aggressive about it as well.
Patrick, much has been made of this £20 million investment in the summer. How much of that will be made available to the new head coach?
Look, so I think it's very public knowledge about the primary investment coming in, and obviously that's going to be approved. It's going to be put up for approval on the 23rd of June at the EGM. So we're in discussions and have been in discussions with new ownership about how best to utilise that investment. Player trading is a key part of the club's model going forward. So a decent portion will be allocated towards player trading, but we're not going to get into such specific amounts just now.
Stevie, David, Kerridine, then Alison to finish, please.
Russell, Kevin, welcome to the football club. I was wondering if I could ask you maybe a bit of a joint question on recruitment. Can you talk us through that process and how it's going to work? Who's going to make the key decisions? Russell, what will your say be in it? There's been a lot of questions about who would maybe make decisions on recruitment and things like that. Can you talk us through that process and explain how it will work between you?
Yeah, so put very simply, the way in which it will be organised is we've got a head coach and we've got a sporting director. Head coach is responsible for the most important bit, preparation of the team, performance of the team, fundamentally the results. My role is to try and make sure that all the support services that sit around Russell are as strong as they possibly can be to give us the best chance of winning. When we talk about recruitment, clearly it's going to be a collaborative approach. I've never been in this role ever where I've signed a player for the first team that hasn't been supported by the head coach or the manager. So we'll talk a lot about how we want to play. We'll talk a lot about what profiles we think we need and what positions we think we need. And then between Russell and I and the recruitment team, we'll sit down and identify players that we think can make us better very quickly. And then between us, we'll decide about what we do next from that point perspective. That's generally how I've worked and generally how we've discussed how it's going to work. And for me, that's probably been a good way of working so that we've got some clarity, but then also it's understood. It's a collaborative approach where we work together to get the best outcome. Is that all right?
Yeah, thank you.
First of all, congratulations, Russell, on your appointment. Could you give us some insight into your backroom team, who will be coming and what their skills and roles will be?
Yep, so Matt Gill's coming, he's at the back of the room now, so he's been my assistant manager all the way through. And he brings technical expertise as a coach, brilliant coach. Played a huge role in developing a lot of players at Norwich City under-21s. We played together very briefly, and then I worked with him in the under-21s when I was on my way out as a player at Norwich, and I realised then what an excellent coach he was and how much care he had for the players and how much they loved him. Guys like Max Aarons, Todd Campbell, and Murphy twins, like some brilliant players under his tutelage. So, and we're very different personalities. So he's a bit more calm and introvert than I am. So it's good for me. And it's a good balance. And so he's coming, and then Rhys Owen is coming as well, who's actually on holiday in Portugal at the minute. He's been texting us relentlessly. He feels like he's missing out today, but he'll be up here next week, and he's a physical performance coach first and foremost, really aligned with the way we want to play, so he understands how the players need to be prepared, and he'll work with the sports science and physical department up here, medical department, and be a really good link for them to us to get to know each other very quickly and to understand what the physical requirements will be, but also a really good technical coach as well. So it's just those two at the moment, and then we've got some brilliant people inside the building, and we'll assess things over the next few weeks together, and then see if we need to add, and as and when we do, see in which areas.
Last two, quick ones.
Russell, welcome back. How key are time and patience to you? It's maybe not something that's associated with either of the big two clubs here, but are you looking for time and are you looking for patience?
I think I can't wait to get time on a training pitch with the players. But in terms of that, no, I think we need to win early, and we need to find a way to win whilst developing. I think it's really important. We had to do that at Southampton. We had to win in amongst a lot of change, and also winning helps you convince people, players, staff, supporters. So no, I can't sit up here and go, it's going to take us 2 years to build something and do that. It's not why we're here. I want us to keep improving and develop, and the end product might not click completely overnight, but we have to find a way of winning whilst building that and developing that. And it's a challenge we really accepted at the Saints, and we'll do that here as well.
When you say win early, are you talking about first season that you're expecting to win a trophy in the first season here?
Games. I'm just talking about winning games to create some energy and momentum, and I think if you have that here, it can be so powerful and so strong.
Alison, last one.
Russell, can I just ask you, what is a realistic expectation for a first campaign?
I think it's a much easier question to answer in 4 or 5 weeks. We've had some training time. We've added to the squad, and we see what shape we're in. But I think we can improve in all areas. I really believe that, and I think we can definitely be better. And I think time will tell. I guess with you guys, we have our own expectation of what we want in terms of the squad and how it's going to look and how we're going to train and how we're going to perform. And after that, the rest will take care of itself. So I'm not going to sit up here and make any promises, because I don't think it helps anyone. But the promise I will give is we are going to be all in to make this club and the team better amidst a fresh start with fresh energy and new energy. And I think it's a really exciting time.